Hey folks, walk with me. Brain drain. It's such a popularized term at the moment. And I see, interestingly enough, some folks on the right talking about it, a lot of folks on the left talking about it, and all of them saying, yeah, we should be draining the brain of the world, bringing them here, taking the best and brightest. It feels to me like it's one of those things that in practice doesn't actually work. And the reason it doesn't work is because there are greedy parasites out there. And the greedy parasite will find loopholes just like the rest of the country finds loopholes, right? People get really bent out of shape whenever there's, legislation passed or repealed or what have you. Like, Americans have always been adept and in many ways just hell-bent on finding ways to skirt the law, finding loopholes, and that's just the case. But the greedy uber capitalists, oligarch is a fair term that's getting thrown around at this point. They are doing much the same thing. They're looking for loopholes. And so you have this concept of brain drain, bringing the best and the brightest to the US to study and to work and to contribute. Sounds great. But inevitably, how that actually ends up working out is taking a system that was built for one thing, or that claims to be for one thing, and just completely bastardizing it and making it something absolute else. And that's what you're seeing with this. And so I would say, if you're leaving it, if you're just following the logical platitudes here, I don't have a better way to put it, but they're just feeding you lines, right? America has to win. The way we win is we take the best and the brightest from around the world and we have them come here and help us win. The problem, as I said in the last video, I think, is who's defining winning here? Probably nobody. I don't think I ever hear anyone say, and what we mean by win is blah. Or if they do, it's something really flimsy around like China's gonna beat our ass, which still doesn't explain how you win. Like, you're just saying, or the scary thing's gonna happen. But that's, to me, is different than winning, right? You're averting a scary thing versus winning, which is pro, and you're just talking about avoiding a negative. So whatever the purported winning is here, I can tell you exactly where the winning happens. The winning happens, and you can look this up for yourself, the winning happens by continuing to demolish the middle class by telling U.S. citizens don't go to school, and then in the same paragraph saying your culture is screwed because you don't value school, and we're going to import the best and the brightest from around the world to go to school here. Why are they going to school, but the U.S. citizenry is not supposed to go to school? What are you talking about here? What are you talking about, as, shocked as I am, as anyone else would be, is people that I find myself agreeing, like, on some of their points to be true, which is they want to have a leg up on their employees. They want to have yet another upper hand on top of all the other upper hands that are already had. And so, being reliant on your employer for your health insurance, for your family's health insurance, maybe for life insurance, and then of course for your wage and your ability to put food on the table, to pay your rent and all that jazz. That's not enough of an upper hand. You also need the threat of deportation, that if they decide to fire you and you can't find another job quickly enough, you're sent back. That's what the brain drain, the bastardized, useful idiot utility of claiming that you want to bring the best and the brightest from around the world to help America win. That's what it's actually used for. And what incentives do they have to adjust it? To what, then have to pay American workers more? It may sound like I'm taking a strong stance one direction or the other on the H-1B situation. I'm actually trying not to in this video. But what I will say is I think for your typical like MAGA, like maybe has supported Trump since 2016 or something, I don't know if they realize how much they've been lied to. In something like this seems like an obvious way to showcase that. I don't know if it'll have legs, I don't know if it'll have sticking power, but to me, whether I agree with somebody's political position or not, I do wish that just across the board, all of the political systems and teams would stop just absolutely lying their asses off and then doing something different. It's really old. I think everyone agrees with that. The problem is, folks then think that they found their way out, right? They found their person who's not going to do that. And it seems like it's just par for the course. I don't know how you slice that another way. I'm sure it will happen. It'll get sliced another way. It'll be forgotten, whatever. But, yeah, this concept of brain drain and how great it is and how it makes America win. Good luck getting a definition of win that actually feels like it supports the country, as opposed to a small percentage of people who are already outsized in their distribution of the wealth. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. But you can look for some sort of a definition out there. And I guarantee you, because it won't be how this boosts the middle class, right? How this rises everyone's ships. Because there isn't really a way to get there. What it will be is China's gonna demolish you. And you're gonna be, I don't know, staring down the gun of, I don't know, a communist regime coming to your borders or your banks or whatever because you weren't able to compete or something like that. That's what it's going to be. That's going to be the definition of winning, is not absolute and total annihilation. Is that what we've been reduced to at this point? Is we're winning as long as we're not getting annihilated and overrun by the Communist Party in China? I mean, wild times. Wild that this stuff is still bought once it's sold. I'm not surprised it's still sold. I'm surprised that it's still bought. All right, folks. It's been a wild end of the year here. And I'm sure we have a much more wild through the 2020s here are going to go out in quite the firework style, I think. We'll see. We have a few years to unpack it. But if you watched or walked with me this far, I really appreciate it. And as always, I will see you in the next video.